Death in the Dark here again. Today, we'll be talking about 10 mistakes every beginners make. Not just beginners, who are advanced, who might make it, depending on how you like to code or program. And yes, I did made some of these mistakes. And I found out that when I was discussing with my friends in school and everything, some of them also made these mistakes. And I'm sure there are one or two people out there that is probably making the same mistake or about to make the same mistake. The good news is that once you know these mistakes, you know how to avoid them, and with that, you get to learn how to program or code faster. You know, some of these are things that I say took me a while to fully understand, and I wish I knew some of these. Before diving way into coding. Also, there's this saying. I've forgotten how the saying goes, but it mentioned that you have to talk to others from others so that you don't do the same error that you go through. And that's why it's always the advice people. Oh, have a mentor in everything you do. Some of the mistakes are kind of technical. Some has to do with the mindset. But I'm gonna try my best to show you the mistake, explain it to the best of my ability, and also give one or two pointers of how to fix it. So because by the end of the video, you'll be able to save yourself from months, yes, minutes, weeks, seconds of frustration, literally. So let's dive straight into it. The first mistake I'll be talking about is not reading error messages. I believe I had this mistake literally. If you watch my coffee and chats video, that I think that should be part one. I explain how I got frustrated and also was in a panic state when I saw a whole bunch of error messages. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fix it because I didn't understand how to read it. I believe that this is also one of the biggest mistake anybody that's trying to go into programming with face. When it comes to errors, there's no way you can avoid it. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid the error messages because you enter you write a code, there's bound for you to get errors. But yeah, I did search up for an online Python IDE, and when I opened it, it gave me a code. So I'm gonna share my screen and run that code. Share my screen. So now I opened it. I think you changed it. Oh, I can actually change it. So I'm just gonna leave it in Python because I have a Python series going on. So normally, if you run this code, as you can see, there's no type of error in it. There's no error. It's working fine. But this, let's say you made a mistake and it's in here, and I run my code. As you can see, it's giving me an error. So first thing, how to read the code. The first thing is to check. Okay, try to trace it back, right? So it tells you it gives you the file name. As you can see, this is helpful, especially when you have more than one file you are dealing with. Gives me the file name. It's coming from main.py because .py is how you save a Python code, right? And if you check my code, it's saved as main.py. So, and the next thing it gives me is the line where the error is coming from. It says, gives me the file name, and so inside that file, check line 9. So most of the coding ID you already have a line number right here, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. So that means the error is coming from somewhere line 9, and from somewhere from here. That's where the error is coming from. And this is very important when it comes to coding. Sometimes it might point directly to where the error is in that line. Sometimes it might not. And this is something you should look out for. It gives you the type of error. Because when it comes to coding, we have different type of error. I'm going to list them after explaining this. So for this, it's giving me it is a name error, and the name A1 is not defined. That might not give you the solution. Some code might give you the solution depending on the type of ID you're using. So when you see something with name error, that means that you're not using the same format that you use in terms of the naming, right? It's telling you the name you're using does not exist or you've not defined it, according to the way you're supposed to define it based on the type of programming language you are using. Error messages literally helps you tell you what the error is, what exactly is wrong in your code. Imagine that if I read this, oh, there's a name error on what line 99 in my main deploy, it literally helps me so I can literally go to line 1 and check which of my variables did I put in the wrong name. There's also different type of error code that we have when it comes to programming. We have something called syntax error. Syntax error is very popular. So when you see syntax error, this means that you are not following the rules of the programming language, because most programming languages, you have a compiler that helps compile the code and everything. So when you say syntax error, it means that you're not following the rules of that programming language. That might be in cases of indentation when it comes to Python. It can be the case of not having semicolon, spelling keywords incorrectly. Let's say you have an integer that is spelled int and you spell it like IMT, So you are missing like a closing bracket somewhere, you're missing a colon or semicolon, something like that. So when you see those type of error, it means according to the program language on how to write this block of code, you are missing something in there. I want to make a video on literally programming languages. You also have the runtime error. This happens your code is doing something, performs an illegal operations. I would say illegal operation. That is when it's dividing by zero. That's literally illegal. Or when you're using a for loop, go through this syntax, but the limit that you're putting in there is way above what you have. Like, I'm putting like go through the loop 5 times, but I only have 3 or 2, so it's going to run into a runtime error. And the next one that we have that's very important is logic error. Logic error, it runs, but your output is incorrect. This mostly happens when you use stuff like if statements, even for loops, or trying to when you're using that the greater than sign, the less than, the equals to. Those things can cause, or adding variables and stuff. That's the stuff that can cause logic error. But mostly when it comes to fixing the error is using the prints. Now I'm jumping to the solution, so I'll just shut up. I'll just shut up when it comes to that. So those are the types, the common error that we have. We also have a lot of, I would say, we also have a lot of errors that I'm not mentioning in this case, but I don't want to go into it way too deep, right? Because if I go into it way too deep, the video is going to be way longer than it's supposed to. Another mistake people make is copying and pasting code without fully understanding it. Is why, for example, let's say when you find out the error, you don't fully understand what the error means, and you just go to search or you go to Stack Overflow, which was I use that time, to like search for solution, and you just copy and paste without having knowing if the solution fully works what you're looking for. So let's say you fully understand the error, but to fully understand, okay, this solution this person is provided, does it fully work on my code, or will you just break my code the more? So copying and pasting without understand, because when it works, but the time it will break your code is having adding fire into firewood. Literally. So how I would advise you to fix it is always before you copy and paste the solution, read it, try to understand, okay, what does each line do, and does does this actually apply to the problem that I'm having? And that would dive down with you fully understanding the problem you're having. Third mistake is not using prints to debug your code. This is what I was talking about the other type of error whereby you are the logical error whereby your code is going to run correctly, but the output is not what you're expecting. So that's to fix this. It's advisable to use the print statements, especially like for Python now, which is Python as let's use the print statement, because that print statement it will help. This is not, let's say for example you're building a calculator, it's not giving the right answer, and that's to find out where it is. Just use the print statement to see what is bringing out or what type of information is collecting, and that way you'll be able to identify where the error is and all. and because you'll be able to see what exactly is happened in each step of your code. Another type of mistake people make is inconsistent naming. Inconsistent naming is because when it comes to coding, you can name your code anyhow you want. You can name your code anyhow you want. But when you don't follow a certain pattern when it comes to naming your code, that is not that is not a good sign. I'm gonna show you an inconsistent way of naming variables. I can see my code here. All this is a good way to name your code. Name variables like having the first letter of each unique certain the capital or using the underscore or just using or capital or using the hyphen. But what I advise people is so that when people are checking your code, so your code looks more professional and all. If you started with using each letter, each word, start with a capital letter. Stick with that throughout. If you're using underscore, stick with that throughout. If you're using all capitalized or lowercase, just stick with that. If you're using hyphen, also please and please stick with that. The first way of that naming your code, we call that Pascal. The second one is called snakecase. And please always pick one star and that will literally help whoever is going through your code, making it like, "Oh, this person knows what they are doing." And that mistake people make is not comment on your code. I know lecturers say this a lot, but sometimes what is the importance of putting comments in your code? It's really, really important. Like when you start writing a lot, really, really when you start working on really, really large projects, start writing complex code. And when you're writing it, you fully understand what you're doing. Because hey, life happens. You come back to it 2 or 3 weeks later, or someone else is going through your code to fix one or two things in it, or trying to understand without the comment, having to add comments to your code. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. And that might lead them having to call you, oh, can you explain this and that? Them doing a guesswork on how it works. What does it do? Imagine there's an error. Let's say you did a big project, it crashed, but on your code, no comments. Whoever comes or whoever you hire to fix your code will start having to do guesswork on, okay, let me fully understand what does this do, what does that do, what does this block of code do. And imagine if you already have comments in them, person doesn't, okay, this is what this one does, and to be easy for them to understand your code base and know what and what to fix when they are trying to fix something or try to understand what's happening in your code base. Number 6 is trying to learn everything at once. Trying to learn everything. I understand the eagerness of wanting to know a lot of languages, wanting to learn, but please and please take it a step at a time. You don't need to learn HTML, React, AWS. You don't machine learning. You don't need to learn everything at once, right? Pick one, fully understand what's going on, and then you can okay. Let me pick another one. Then understand it, and you understand that. Let's say you fully understand one, be able to apply some of the knowledge you understand by one, and you can be able to apply it on on the second one. And with that, you don't need to spend as much time on the second one. Because when you're learning a lot of things, it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy not to fully understand what's happening, and it's also easy to confuse them together, right? So, how to do web design? Okay, what's the basics? Let me learn HTML. Let me learn CSS. I just want to understand general programming. Let me start with Python. Then you move from there. You get that. Oh, with that, you fully understand what's happening. Number 7, not asking for help. Not asking for help. If you're stuck on a problem for 3 hours, you try to Google it, you try to like, ask ChatGPT or anything, and you're not getting the solution. Wait, please ask people because before, why are the people putting it on ChatGPT? Like, it's humans that are putting the solution. So ask the people around you that I'm stuck with this. How can I fix this and that? Is some Stack Overflow really, really help when it comes to coding? So especially you're making Stack Overflow your friend. There's some Discord channels that us when people are facing issues in their code, even Reddit, so like, they help. Let's say you're watching a YouTube tutorial and you're having an issue with that project. that you watch in that YouTube tutorial. Put it in a comment like, hey, I'm having this issue, this and that. And they'll reply. Even let's say you're doing any of my coding tutorials, I having issues, comment on it. I reply every comment. I reply every comment. And something I also advise in that case is also take about 15-30 minutes break. Step away from the computer, go do something else, then come back and go through your code. That way, your mind is not just fixed on a particular solution because now you're coming back with a new perspective, right? So, number eight, expecting perfectionism, is where my goal is to make it perfect. My goal is to make it perfect. It has to be perfect from the onset, this and that and that. That might cause a lot of issues and might only lead you to not actually completing the project. Right? Go just write it like structure. Start with a little bit of structure, right? Start working on it, and once you are done, then you can start fixing no two things because like we are humans. You sometimes might change your ideas, might change like okay, let me do like this. This might look better. Let me fix this one. Let me fix that side. If I think the design looks messy, I'm trying to get the design perfect. First, finish what you have first. When you finish that, like, okay, what should I change in the design? You can get a survey because you are not the one that be using your software, right? Get a survey. Okay, there are people that might need this. Okay, then let me start fixing this week, and that way you are improving it and it gets better. Something mistake number nine. Mistake number nine is not using version control. That is it. I when I first learned about Git, it was a little bit confusing for me. And because I didn't fully understand it at the time, I just like straight away somewhere. But I found that yeah, I should have taken more time. I got to finally. So not using version control. Please ensure that anytime you're working on the project, you're using Git. They keep have to have a version control. Every big organization they do this. They do this all the time. So that way, the way one of the way you're supposed to use Git is when you make changes to your code and something breaks in it, it's easy for you to revert back without having to like start all over again, breaking more things in your code. It's easy to undo your mistakes. It's undo your because Git saves every version of your code, right? It saves every version. With that, you can even try if you want to try something risky in when it comes to Git. I advise to create a branch. Create a branch, right in that branch, your testing branch, see how it works before you move it to your main branch. Written. And since Git saves everything in your code, let's say you accidentally did something, you always go grab it from the history. You can always grab it from the history. And one of the things I thought Git was so complicated, I didn't want to fully understand it, which frustrated me a lot along as I move forward. Start learning Git. Some of the Git command that can use is git init, git add, git commit, git status, and git log. Then show you so you can see what each means. So when you say git init, it's to start tracking. I made something to use, can you add it? Then you are committing is adding to the particular branch. Okay, let me put it to the branch. Let me see how it works. Git status, you can see okay, what are the new changes I made, who made these changes, at what time, this and that. And Git log keeps the history of everything. Let's say you're trying to meet, it's not committing well, it's everything's under the Git log, literally. So this is some of the basic that you can use when you're trying to learn how to use Git. Mistake number 10, which is the last mistake, is giving up too soon. Giving up too soon. When you try coding and if it's hard, you're getting a lot of errors and you think, I'm stuck. Well, I don't think this is meant for me. And you quit. Everybody is bound to struggle. I did. I'm sure some of your other developers they did that at a point, right? The struggle might be different, but everybody's bound to struggle a bit. And getting errors, I usually shout this a lot. Getting errors are normal. Are normal. Even professional developers too. This time my professor was trying to like do some one or two things and he got error in his code. Yeah, everybody gets error. The difference is you understanding the type of error and knowing how to fix it, right? And if you feel okay, this is a little bit confusing, it means that you're growing. It means that, oh yeah, you're learning something new. You're gonna learn something new and everything. And let me tell you, it gets easier. It gets easier at the point. The first time you're trying, it to be hard and everything, but it do get easier because what you didn't know before, you already know it, and when you see it, you be, yeah, now I know how to fix it. So just a little bit of recap. These are the 10 mistakes most beginners make. There's not reading error messages, copying and pasting, without fully understanding it, not using the print statement to debug, using inconsistent naming, not commenting on your code, trying to learn everything at once, not asking for help, perfectionism, not using Git as the version control, and giving up easily. Giving up too soon, literally. So please try and avoid these mistakes so you can learn faster. But drop a comment, let me know what mistakes you made, you know. The more you know. We've all been there. Let's learn to feel comfortable. Let's learn together. But that's it for today. That's it for today. Remember, mistakes are how you learn. Don't be afraid of them. The real mistake is giving up. So drop a comment on which mistake you struggle with most, any mistake I missed. That is called what is the worst coding mistake you've ever made. Remember, I reply every comment. So let's talk about it. Once again, I'm definitely that. Keep coding. See you next Friday. Bye bye.